Thank you for joining us and congratulations on your new ride. My name is Scott Wolfman and I'm here with my colleague, Kevin Morrison. We're with Cool the Earth, an environmental nonprofit with a mission to reduce carbon emissions and air pollution. So today we're offering some tips to help make a smooth transition to driving electric. This is the agenda for this evening. We'll cover charging at home, at work and on the road, and also during power outages. We'll talk about incentives. We'll make sure you know your options for clean electricity. And at the end, you can ask us anything. So thank you everyone again for your commitment to driving electric. Decreasing fossil fuel consumption reduces carbon emissions and air pollution. It helps every living being on the planet. While it's important to take many different climate actions, this chart emphasizes the importance of clean transportation. In the Bay Area, our passenger vehicles are the single largest source of emissions. When you switch from a gas car to an EV and plug into clean energy, you cut your carbon emissions almost in half. And thank you for that. So now let's start with a quick overview on charging. So you can see on this slide here, there are 3 speeds at which EVs charge their batteries. So level 1 and level 2 are found at homes and typically at workplaces. Level 3 is found at commercial, what's called fast charge stations. For most people, 90% of charging is done at home or at work on level 1 or level 2 chargers. For charging away from home, there are also many level 2 public chargers available, so you can charge when you're around town and running errands. For example, when I go to Whole Foods or the farmer's market, I usually charge my car for an hour and pick up 25 miles or so of range. When you're on a road trip, you'll want a fast charge with a level 3 charger, which is the fastest charging available. There are 3 standards for level 3 chargers. The first one on the left side is CHAdeMO. The second one is CCS, and the third standard is Tesla. So at this point, the only EV using the CHAdeMO standard is the Nissan Leaf. Tesla has its own proprietary network, and at this point, only Teslas can use their charging network, although they have announced that they will be opening up their supercharger network to all EV drivers, which would be fabulous since their charging network is quite robust. All other EVs use the CCS fast charge standard, which is the middle one. With level 3, some EVs can charge over 800 miles per hour. Most cars charge from 10% to 80% in approximately 30 minutes. So on the road, charging is often a 20 to 30 minute stop. Just some facts about level 3 charging. The chargers are 480 volt, and charging stations are between usually 50 kilowatts and 350 kilowatts. So at home, you can charge either on a 120 volt or a 240 volt outlet. A typical 2-prong outlet with the hole underneath it is 120 volt, and the level 2 chargers are something that typically either have to be installed or something that can be used within your house, which we'll hit up on the next slide. So level 1 we find is ample for most people. As you can see in the left-hand photo, there's an ordinary extension cord running from the house. You plug in the charger that comes with your vehicle into a standard 120 volt outlet. It gives you about 40 miles of charge in 8 hours. So most people in the Bay Area drive an average of 23 miles per day. So level 1 charging works out great for them. If you find you drive more than 50 miles a day, a good option is to see if you can charge at work. If not, you might want to purchase a home charging station for level 2 charging, a 240 volt outlet, like what most clothes dryers use. You'll get about 25 miles in an hour, so you can easily get a full charge on your vehicle overnight. Some folks already have a 240 volt outlet available. If you don't, the first step is to consult with an electrician. We have an online resource in our buying and driving guide that will help you determine the right charging station. So let's recap. Level 1 works with a 120 volt outlet, which is like I said, a regular home outlet, and you'll get about 5 miles of charge per hour. If you plug into an outlet in your garage and it doesn't work, it could be because your outlet isn't grounded. That happened to Kevin, as a matter of fact, and he'll be happy to recall his story later. Level 2 charging. This requires a 240 volt outlet, like your clothes dryer, which we said earlier, and you'll get approximately 25 miles of charge for each charging hour. Installation costs vary depending on your home electrical system. To help figure it out, we recommend hiring a licensed electrician. So you can ask her for the maximum amps and buy a charging station that matches this rate. We'll send you the link to a home charging advisor that will help guide you, and we'll put that in the chat as well. Before buying a charging station, determine the best location. So you want to make sure that I'm just putting that link in the chat now. So make sure that the cable can easily reach your car's charge port and is long enough to reach a second EV in the future. Ask your electrician to install the station so it is portable, not permanently fixed to the wall. If you need to relocate your charging station, you'll have a flexible solution. So smart splitters. There's also one good way to use a dryer outlet or an ordinary 240 volt outlet to charge your EV. NeoCharge makes a 240 volt smart splitter. It's UL listed, which means it's it's been tested at length by trusted experts for safety. It's not just a dryer plug adapter, it's a safety device. So this will, again, share the 240 volt plug between your dryer and your EV. Once you start driving electric, it's ideal to charge your EV from rooftop solar. There's currently a federal tax credit available this year and next year for 26% of the installation cost. It's a great feeling to be able to charge your car from electricity that you generate on your own roof. And for more resilience, you may want to consider a battery for storage. If you're not ready for solar, you can choose a clean energy plan from your utility or CCA. Also, check in with your utility to learn about different rate plans. Most people are currently on a tiered rate plan. With a tiered rate, you pay a certain rate for the baseline amount and a higher rate as you use more electricity. For example, with PG&E, the tier 1 rate is about 26 cents per kilowatt hour, and tier 2 is 31 cents, and the high usage surcharge is about 39 cents. In 2022, PG will be moving to a time of use plan to encourage people to reduce electricity usage at peak times, especially in the evening. Your utility may offer a special reduced EV or time of use rate, so you pay less for electricity during certain times of the day. With the MCE EV rate, you can get really inexpensive electricity during off-peak hours, as you see on this chart, so you can program your EV to charge from anywhere from midnight to 3 p.m. You'll be charged this rate for all of your electricity usage at off-peak times. So this works really well when you can run the dishwasher and other appliances during off-peak time. We'll send you a resource for finding the best rate for your situation. With working from home, this can work really well. In any case, you want to make sure this EV rate plan works for your lifestyle. Here's a resource for finding the best rates with an EV, and that's in the chat, the ev.pge.com/rates. So Kevin, you're kind of a routine guy. Now is now a good time to talk about getting into a charging routine?
Well, yes, it is, Scott. So, hey, kids, when you say goodbye to the gas station, you'll also discover it's super convenient and easy to charge at home or at work. You just need to get in the habit of charging daily or as needed. As Scott said, to save money and charge with clean energy, you can program your car to charge during off-peak times. If you're an MCE customer, that's between midnight and 3 p.m. On a day-to-day basis, most manufacturers recommend that you charge your battery to 80% to avoid potential battery degradation. How do I pronounce that? You can crank it up to 100% before a road trip to enjoy the full range of your battery. And if you drive a plug-in hybrid or PHEV, remember to always plug in. You may be able to cover your daily driving footprint on 100% electricity. All right, when you charge at work, it might be your primary charging source. Be sure to check your workplace for benefits related to driving EV. For instance, sometimes there's discounted charging for employees. If you don't have workplace charging, ask for it. If they aren't already planning for it, advocating for charging can make a big difference. If you live in a multi-unit building, there are several EV charging solutions for you already, and more solutions are on their way. You can charge by plugging into a standard 120 volt outlet if it's available in your garage. Of course, you can charge at work, keep that in mind. And you can also use public fast chargers. On average, fast charging will get you about 70% battery charge in 30 minutes. Approximately 90% of Californians live within 15 miles of a fast charger. And the president's infrastructure plan includes 500,000 new fast charger stations in the US. If there is not one near you now, one is on the way. EV Match provides charging access with a peer-to-peer network for charging, which is a great option. You can download the free app to share your charger or find and reserve charging. You can also lobby your property owner to install standard 120 volt outlets in your parking space and agree to a flat monthly rate, like $10 or $20 a month, depending upon how much you charge. In short, there are many advances coming soon. Smart outlets, for instance, are an affordable way for EV owners to charge their vehicles in a shared space. These smart outlets monitor the electricity you use to charge your EV, so you can reimburse the owner for that power. Orange Charger and Plugzio are two products that are currently available. For most people, 90% of charging is done at home or at work. Charging on the road takes a bit of practice, but it works great. There are many level 2 public chargers all around that you can use, but level 3 charging is preferred on the road. Level 3 is the fastest charging available. There are several standards for fast charging: CHAdeMO, CCS, and Tesla. The only new car that uses CHAdeMO is the Nissan Leaf, and Nissan is moving to the CCS standard. Besides Tesla, all the other cars use the CCS system. Speed of charging depends on the car and the speed that the charging station can provide. Any CCS car can use any CCS charging station. When you're driving, as the battery gets full, when you're charging, not when you're driving, when you're charging, as the battery gets full, the charging slows down. So often charging is only 15 to 20 minutes because once it's about 80% full, it definitely slows down. Beware of the linger fee. This is actually a considerate thing, but you'll be charged if you're plugged in but no longer charging. When you're road tripping, many hotels have destination chargers. can search Expedia, for example, to find out which hotels have charging. When you're staying at an Airbnb or Vrbo, you can reach out to the owner to ask if you can charge at their home. Typically, they'll put an extension cord out for you. Also, you need to get a few navigation apps loaded on your phone. Many cars have their own navigation systems and they're easy to use, but PlugShare is designed for EV owners. A Better Route Planner is another good navigation app. And when you sign up for charging at Electrify America and EVgo, for example, they have their own apps, which you knew probably before you took your road trip because you signed up for a few charging networks, right? They're all a little different. Some take credit cards, others don't. These are some of the most common. I do want to emphasize that it's important to practice near home before heading out on a road trip. It's easier to figure it out and practice locally. Each charging network offers some benefits like discounts and rate plans. Each charging network has a website and an app. For ChargePoint, you sign up online or with the app. Electrify America also sign up online or with the app. They have actually the most level 3 charging stations and the fastest speeds available, although EVgo has almost as many and about the same speeds. And if you do have trouble, you can call the number on the station. Each of the pumps, whatever station you're at, their customer service will be helpful. Now, here's one of my favorite parts about an EV. It's a giant battery. You can plug an inexpensive 300-watt inverter, you can get it for about 30 bucks, into the accessory port and power up small appliances like cell phones or laptops or LED lights. There are also several companies working on vehicle-to-home energy management systems. Just imagine plugging your home into your car, not the other way around. That reminds me, did you know that the battery alone in the new F-150 Lightning, the enormous Chevy electric truck, the battery alone is 1,800 pounds. Anyway, when energy is expensive, you can power up your home with the energy stored in your EV battery. Then you can charge up your EV battery at night when there's ample, clean, inexpensive electricity available from the grid. Speaking of saving money, let's take a look at the incentives that are available. As a new EV owner, most of these were baked into your deal, but it's always worth double checking. You can save up to $11,000 with incentives, rebates, and grants for a fully electric car, and about half of that amount with a plug-in hybrid. There is a new rebate from utilities, the California Clean Fuels Reward, which many of you automatically received when you bought your car. There's the California Standard rebate for $2,000, which you need to apply for. And then there's the federal tax credits, which are claimed when you file your taxes. The EV credit is currently not available for Teslas, although we can hope that'll change. This tax credit is for purchase only, but some dealers will take it off the lease price as well. There's also a home charging credit for up to $1,000 that covers 30% of the total cost of the charging hardware, outlets and charging station, as well as the install. The vehicle buyback program will pay Bay Area residents $1,200 to turn in their operable, registered 1997 or older vehicle for scrapping. The Consumer Assistance Program's vehicle retirement option offers eligible consumers an incentive to retire their operational vehicle. Consumers meeting the income eligibility requirement may receive $1,500 for each vehicle retired. All other owners may receive $1,000 to retire their vehicle at a contractor dismantler. I did that once. It was pretty awesome. And of course, you can apply for the Clean Air Vehicle decal, which gives you access to the HOV lane as a single passenger. We'll send a savings calculator that you can personalize to see exactly which rebates you qualify for. And this is important because some utilities and CCAs, like Peninsula Clean Energy, for instance, have local rebates. You can also check with your utility if you're not a PG&E customer, your CCA, and your city for additional incentives. Now, let me add in a few details. In California, the Clean Vehicles Rebate Program, with a standard rebate of $2,000 on any new EV, that comes as a check in the mail. If you earn more than $150,000 or you have a household that earns $300,000 or more, you are not eligible for this rebate. Rebates are not eligible on EVs that cost over $60,000. So that's two things to know. You can claim a tax credit of up to $7,500 for the year you purchase a new EV or PHEV, which effectively lowers the purchase price of the car by that same amount. The credit is claimed when you file your income taxes and does not take the form of an upfront rebate. The credit is valid for new EV purchases, not leases. But when you lease, the dealer may pass the savings on to you. So you can remember to negotiate that, and they will definitely negotiate. The tax credit is no longer available for Tesla. When a manufacturer has sold over 200,000 EVs, the tax credit is reduced, and after a year, it's no longer available. That's what's happened to Tesla. They're up to like 1 million vehicles worldwide. You can also get up to a $1,000 rebate on home charging equipment. The credit covers 30% of the cost of up to $1,000 and includes electrical work. So, all good news. Again, remember, in California, every new EV is eligible for the sticker. That lasts 3 full years plus the partial year that it was purchased in. So like if you bought it in March or June, you'll get the first 3/4 or half a year plus 3 additional years. If your income qualifies, the decal does not expire. And if you buy a used EV, you can transfer the HOV lane access to your car registration and enjoy the carpool lane until it expires. All right, well, so thank you. Karen Gottlieb, I bought a 2018 Fiat 500e used. Does that qualify for tax credits? And if so, any place to get it? Yeah, sorry. There are no tax credits for used cars as of today, and unless Scott, I'm behind the times.
Nope.
Is there a rebate for used vehicles? There are some rebate programs for income qualified people and used vehicles, I think. Is that right?
Income qualified.
Yeah. So look up used EVs and income qualified, and that's going to be your best source of information on that. Catherine Montgomery, we've heard that level 3 fast charging is bad for the battery. How often can it be used? So here's what we think. We were just talking about this, Scott and I, because we leased a vehicle and we are both at the front end of our 3-year lease. And we're like, I'm charging when I need to, up to whenever I need to, because probably significant battery degradation, which when we say significant, we're talking like 5 to 10%. It's not like having an alkaline battery that suddenly, you can't change the channel on your TV anymore. It's not like that at all. We're like, we don't care. We're going to turn this in 3 years. And if they need to recondition the battery, we're done. I'm sorry, Scott, I'm sort of speaking for you. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel the same way. But in response to that question in general, there haven't been any real studies on the long-term effects of DC charging. So we don't have necessarily a distinct answer or a definite answer to that question. But yeah, if you lease your vehicle, like Kevin said, and like I did, I'm less concerned about battery degradation because after 3 years, I'm turning my vehicle in and getting a new one. So.
Yeah, there's just no longitudinal study for fast charging because EVs are relatively new and so is fast charging. So no good data. Nancy Lewis is getting all technical. Does amperage make a difference? What are you talking about? Are you talking about in-home charging, Nance? Oh, so yeah, kinda. You can set on most EVs that I have known, which is 2, a Bolt and a Tesla, you can set the charging on a Bolt to be like 8 amp or 12 amp, and the 12 amp is faster. If you're dealing with a very sort of frazzled wire, an extension cord, you don't want to use the 12 amp. Or you have an old house and you just don't trust the electrical system, period, then, probably just want to leave it at 8 amp, which is like a hairdryer. But it makes it a little bit faster, not a lot faster. And if you're okay with, and you don't have any fire hazards, just use the 12 amp charging.
If the Build Back Better passes the Senate and is signed into law in its present form, then there will be significantly enhanced federal tax credits for EVs.
True.
This is true. And then Cindy asks, are there incentives or tax credits for those earning over 150,000? Not that I'm aware of. Kevin, over $150,000 a year, I'm assuming.
So, yeah, the tax credit for a single person who makes over $150,000 is not available. If you're a household and you make less than 300,000, then you get the tax credit. It's single person, 150 is the limit. Household, 300 is the limit. So maybe that helps, maybe that doesn't. But if you are making more than 300 as a household, or if you're a single filer earning 150 or more, they're not designed for you. This might be a silly question, but can we close our door on the charging cable? You totally could.
I'd be careful. The kink causing a kink in the extension cord or the charging cable could certainly damage the cable, and there's electricity passing through it, and you certainly don't want to cause any type of rupture in the line or anything like that. But with that said, if the door is sort of loose or, not weather sealed or something like that, you might be able to get away with it. I've definitely seen people run extension cords out their windows or things like that too. So,
sorry, if you can you guys hear us? We're talking about the garage door. Right. So the plug is in the garage.
Oh.
We're trying to plug it into the car, right? Charge the car, but we have the garage door. And so, if putting the garage door, even there's like a rubber piece across the bottom of it, but we didn't know if that was just generally a bad idea and we should get an extension cord or figure out another solution.
So you're fine.
Does that make sense?
I've closed my garage door with the little rubber thing at the bottom and it goes, and I've done that a million times on an extension cord. If you have a good extension cord, like a 12 or 8 gauge, let's say 8 gauge extension cord, you're really in a good spot. If you're just doing the regular old thing, it is pretty robust. It's like an 8 or 6 gauge crazy,
right?
Hang off of a cliff with your car and you're like, no, don't let me fall. That's you'll be fine.
Yeah,
okay.
I sort of was picturing like an inside a sliding glass door or a French door or something. But yeah, I think with a garage I think you're fairly safe. This might be a question for you, Kevin.
Yeah, so I love the Bolt. It's a great car. It makes me happy. And then the battery thing happened where, it's really, really extremely unlikely that it's going to burst into flame. But there's this tiny little chance that a battery anomaly in a Bolt, there have been 15 Bolt car fires, or about 15 out of about 140,000 manufacturers. So it's a tiny, tiny chance. But we decided not to hold on to our Bolt because we're paranoid people, I guess. But I love the Bolt. The Tesla, now to be fair, the Tesla, it's just an awesome car. The weird thing about the Bolt and the Tesla is the MSRP is about the same. If you buy a loaded Bolt, just the nice trim package, and it's about $42,000 as MSRP. The Tesla Model 3 base model is about 42,000 MSRP. So like in the old days, this would be like getting, just a sturdy, lovely, basic Toyota for the same price as like a Lincoln Continental. I mean, just because it's a wonderful car is the Tesla. It's just, when you drive one, you'll go like, yeah, let's just stick with this, and we've made a good investment. And then the big thing about the Tesla is you get access to the Tesla supercharger network, which is, it's just superior to any of the other networks out there.
The CVRP. Is there a window to submit the request for the rebate?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
It's like 3 months.
Is it? Yeah, I was going to say 90 or something.
Yeah. Well, I hope we're not going to make anybody have a really sad face.
Yeah, I would definitely double check, but yeah, I believe that there is a window.
Yeah. They don't hold this money for you until,
eternity
from now. There's 3 months, I think. A super steep driveway and need a car with high clearance. Best recommendations. Scott, you got the car.
This might be up my alley. I got a Volkswagen ID4, which is a little bit higher and more of an SUV as opposed to a lot of the standard crossover style electric vehicles. So I would definitely recommend something, a steep driveway or something where you're worried about bottoming out. And there's also a lot of cars kind of in the pipeline, so to speak. Right now, the Volvo XC40 Recharge is out, and that also has a pretty reasonable ground clearance. Subaru is going to be releasing, jointly Toyota and Subaru are going to be releasing a SUV fully electric vehicle, probably middle of this coming year. So there's definitely, Tesla Model Y has some more clearance, or the Model X. So I think, just a little bit of research into ground clearance, but definitely I have an ID4 and am super happy with it, and would definitely recommend checking that vehicle out.
And to be fair, Timo, my Bolt has great clearance. I have a steep driveway as well. Maybe not super steep, but definitely steep. And the Tesla Model 3 that we just got is making it too. Although it does do the thing where it like beeps at me and says, stop, you're going to hit something. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to hit my driveway maybe, but then I never do. So
possible enhanced tax credits applied to Teslas. I believe that they will.
But we got to pass the Build Back Better. Right. So it's a big what if. It is. I will say to Robert Kibrick that the orange outlet has become available. Vehicle to home equipment. Oh, I see. You're talking about actually running your home off of your car. Yeah, there's nothing commercially available yet, but there's so many in the pipeline. People want to jump into that. Man, you set a Google News alert for vehicle to home or vehicle to grid, and you'll be like, wow, stuff is happening. Tesla warranty, 70% battery life after, I think, 8 years. Stephen Starling, that may be true. I am a new Tesla owner. I just got a Tesla 2 weeks ago on account of the Bolt thing. Again, it's probably worth noting that all the data points we have so far about battery degradation point to 5 to 10% degradation after about 10 years. And the new batteries, the new generations of batteries that have been placed in EVs for the last 3, 4, 5 years, they are so much better than the older batteries. I mean, I had a 2005 Chevy hybrid, Honda Civic hybrid, and those batteries did, after 6 or 7 years, get down to, I don't know what the actual number was, because they didn't provide metrics on board, but I would guess that they were down to like 60% performance. But batteries are just getting better, and when we get solid state batteries finally, that's going to be a big sigh of relief, because they're going to last a lot longer, and they're not going to deal with any of the mining issues and metal issues that the current generation of batteries does. How long does it take to purchase, order, receive a new Tesla now? They're starting to run into the same problems. They had a bigger stock in reserve than most manufacturers, so they were more resilient in the first few months of this crazy supply chain problem. But you might be told, if you ordered a basic Tesla Model 3, you probably are looking at spring delivery. There are ways to speed that up. You can order an extended range package. It's more expensive, but then you go from 260 miles of range to about almost 360. And if you upgrade certain things, then you can get a quicker delivery, like 1 to 2 months. But then again, if you want a basic Tesla Model 3 and that's what you're going to order, then it's spring delivery. What is the status of Inroad Charging? I've read the same articles, man. That is so cool. Cindy Sims, you take the cake. So Inroad Charging, as far as I know, is still in test phases in Germany and England. I think there's one other European country that is doing that. I don't know that that's ever going to become widely popular. And for those of you who don't know what she's asking about, there are actually roads that you drive over in your EV that is equipped to charge wirelessly from the road itself, and you never have to charge because you're always on the road. And they put that into some test areas where they're just running trams and vehicles that go back and forth for a couple of miles from like an airport to a central location or a downtown location to a train station. And it's awesome. There's it's a wonderful technology. I don't know that there's going to be traction for widespread adoption.
FYI, we ordered a Tesla Model Y July 31st, and they're still waiting.
Oh, the Model Y is so popular. Yes.
So hard to get.
We asked about that, and yeah, they're just...
they got an XC40 recharge and canceled the Tesla.
Yeah.
Both very cool cars.
The Volvo has gotten such great reviews. Is it one of the, like, it's won awards and stuff already? It's, yay, good for you.
Yeah.
Hey, Catherine Montgomery, once you've got your Volvo, you're going to have to start coming out to the Drive Clean Bay Area car shows and showing it off to prospective other buyers of the Volvo, right? We'll probably have one, hopefully end of Q1 next year. By then you'll be an EV expert and talking it up and getting more people to recognize these are good things.
Yeah, for us, it was kind of easy. We've actually already owned 2 other Volvos. And so we're just kind of Volvo people. And I know everyone loves a Tesla. We have friends that love a Tesla, but we drove it and it's like, this feels weird. Opening the door felt weird. Yep. Everything about the Volvo, we just really, really liked. And then with the $7,500 tax credit, it ended up being cheaper than the Volvo. Right. So for us, it was a quick decision, because that's the other thing was they had 2 of the kind of lower end ones, and they both sold like literally the day after we looked at them, and we were one of them. So they were going fast. Yeah.
Mahadavan Christian, Krishnan, are you unmuting so you can ask a question?
Yes, indeed.
Please do.
I'm just curious about the VW bus that's slated to come out in 2023, I think.
That's right. The ID Buzz.
Mm-hmm. Can you comment on it? Yeah.
Well, I've read the reviews of prototypes and people who get excited about seeing them at car shows, but that's about all we know, that people are really excited about them.
Okay, then another follow-up question. There's always, in making one of these buying decisions, the challenge of the optimal time. Because of the legislation you spoke of in DC and the exponential impact that might have on the whole EV market and so on, should one just wait 6 months or 9 months, or is that the usual folly, when you say,
No.
I'll wait for a better stereo system, and then you never get one?
Yes,
Right.
you are right. You should buy. I mean, also, if you buy and the people get off of their keisters and pass some EV incentive laws, most of them are going to be retroactive to a certain date, and it'll probably be 6 months before they sign it into law. So, it won't necessarily be, if you bought something in January of next year and there was a new incentive available in March of next year, you would more than likely be grandfathered into that incentive.
Got it. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been most informative and entertaining, and it's going to help our decision.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
I'm curious, what do people think about like used Teslas? Because I know that like we actually tried to look at an Audi e-tron and called the dealer and said, hey, can we come look at them? And they're like, I don't have any. And my husband explained that we're looking for a Tesla. He's like, I got Teslas if you want to buy a Tesla right now. So how do people feel about used Teslas, out of curiosity?
Buy it.
Stephen Starling has been right about everything so far. So there you go, Catherine. I have no experience with used Teslas, nor do I. I know that it's a tight market. I did have a friend, our friend Sue Saunders.
Yes.
Scott was looking for a used Tesla for a while when she was trying to find an option to her Chevy Bolt. And she was never able to find one.
I'd say the one thing about buying a used EV is just being able to evaluate the status of the battery. Like we mentioned earlier, we don't know exactly what the long-term effects of DC fast charging are. Battery degradation over time. There's not, long-term studies. So I'm not saying don't buy. I'm not recommending one way or the other, but I'm just saying that's something to consider is just, the state of the battery.
One more question. Does anyone use like free public charging? Like there's a
Yes.
a local school that
possible.
has like free charging. Is that worth it? Like, is it inconvenient? Like, obviously it's not as convenient, but people seem for it.
So that's level 2 charging, and it is not as fast charging, but it's free. So it's well worth it if you've got the option to use that at a workplace or a local school. I know that in the city of Novato, there are a number of, which is where I am, there are a number of chargers that the city puts out, which will give you an hour of free charging. And, you can get 20 miles of juice for free, which we love.
Cool. Okay. Are those can you find those on like one of those apps?
PlugShare will tell you.
The apps have
PlugShare?
filters that you can filter the free ones.
Okay.
What I've found is there are so many out there that are not in the apps.
Oh.
Yes.
So you really have to be savvy.
Right.
Yeah, I found that as well.
There's like a dentist office down the way from me, and the dentist has put this into his parking lot. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thank you, dentist. And obviously you don't necessarily want to go use some strange dentist charger because he wants that as a perk for his patients. But still in all, it's just good to know that it's there. And maybe you'll go there for your dental health.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well,
All right.
I think it's cocktail hour. Thank you all for hanging out with us. You've been great.
Yes. Thank you
Thanks for
very
putting it
much.
on.